Hello everybody, last assignment, Module 13 is our case study. My name is Kane Hensley. Case study is over a good teacher gone bad. Miss Horton, who is a first grade teacher in a rural school district, has previously been named Teacher of the Year, has kind of taken a turn for the worse, both in the classroom and outside of the classroom with her peers. She hasn't been handling her kids very well, and there's some maybe possible abuse issues and some discipline issues. Like I said, not only has she had trouble in the classroom, but she is also missing parent-teacher conferences. Administration kind of has to decide what the next step is for Ms. Horton. Category 1, problem identification and analysis. Ms. Wilson, who is the principal. What I know about her is she has been the principal for 3 years. She is trying to incorporate a reading program, and she has not had any prior instances with Miss Horton or any other staff members. They have got along fairly well. They also have parent-principal teacher conferences that they have set up with Miss Horton. What I need to know. What is the evaluation system in this school district? How often are they done? Has Miss Horton had some prior evaluations that have been poor? And what is the future plans for evaluations? The problem, Miss Horton is against changing curriculum, the new reading curriculum she's against. Miss Horton is struggling in the classroom, and Miss Horton's relationships with staff is declining. Now, from the view of Miss Horton, what I know is she's a former Teacher of the Year. She teaches first grade. She's had some rough home life with her husband leaving her to raise her teenage boys on her own. And now she's having some issues with the staff and also parents and students. What I need to know are any teacher aides in her classroom at any time. Like I said before, what is the frequency of evaluation system? How many students does she have in this class? Some problems that I know she has, obviously some student issues. Her home life, like I said, her husband left her and with her 2 teenage sons, and then her abuse of students and other teachers. Category 2. Proposed plan of action with appropriate strategies for implementation. Gathering of information. As a principal, you have to document all parent complaints and every kind of complaint that you have had about Miss Horton. You should gather all previous evaluations. Hopefully you have those. And then gather information from the other staff and students that are willing to help you out. You can meet with Miss Horton, offer her help outside of the school. Obviously, she needs some help with her home life. She might need some counseling or something like that. Just offer anything that you can do to help her out. Find out if Miss Horton's willing to change. Is she willing to get back to the teacher that she previously was? And then communicate with her what can happen and what possibly could happen if her attitude continues, if she doesn't get better in the classroom. Action plan, communicate with all those involved. Communicate with your other staff members, communicate with the students, the parents, and of course, like I said, all of the staff. Let them know kind of what's going on if you can. Maybe you need to increase the evaluations and observations that you do on Ms. Horton. Go in there and check out her classroom, see how she's doing. You can also, you can also provide a teacher aide in Ms. Horton's classroom to have some other eyes and ears in the classroom. Resolution to the issues. What is best for the students? What is the student-teacher relationship? Hopefully you can get that improved. Parent-teacher conferences. Have meetings with Ms. Horton. You might have to join in on those meetings and make sure everything goes smoothly. Hopefully Ms. Horton returns to her old self, and then possibly you can put some teacher aides in the classroom like previously stated. Some examples. Students have felt abused by Ms. Horton. You need to provide times for the conferences that Miss Horton needs to be at. Maybe you as a principal set up those conferences for her. Hopefully you can get her to leave her home issues at home and do not bring them into the classroom, and hopefully she can turn into the previous teacher that she was. And as a school, you might have to hire more than 3 aides to help cover classrooms or wherever aides are needed. Category 4, debrief the problem by reflection. The thinking part. Ms. Wilson is actively trying to solve issues. Mr. Stafford's concerns, who is a student's parent, you need to take that into account. And then, did you take the appropriate measures? How are you feeling? Guilt for how the students were treated? Do you feel guilty for Mrs. Horton, how she's, been feeling? Maybe you can get her some help. Also some disappointment in Miss Horton, how she's carrying her home life into the classroom. And then you need, like I said before, you need to have some sympathy for Miss Horton and her home life, because you actually don't know what is truly going on. So possibly get her some help. What's best for the students is what you need to value. What is best for Miss Horton going forward, and what is best for your school's culture? Debriefing continued. Unresolved issues and further investigation. You got to, will Miss Horton change? Communicate with her and provide her the opportunity to get better. Maybe some professional development, see a counselor, bring some people into the school to maybe help her out. Will students or the parents be moved to new classrooms? Move that Julie Stafford, Mr. Stafford, who came and talked to you about Julie, do you need to move her to a new room? Is there just a problem with their relationship? Assess the situation if more students need to be moved or what you need to do. Communicate with the parents regarding the issues at hand. Has Miss Horton gotten better after you provided her the help and had the conversations with her? Assure parents that the problem is being handled and that students are safe. Okay, Category 5, Part 1, Academic Success of All Students. Make sure you have a positive school culture. Make sure your issues are all being addressed and communicate with all those involved. Test scores, our student test scores continue to stay high, or are they lowering? Hopefully they continue to get better. And professionalism is displayed by all staff and school members. Part 2, promote personal well-being. Ms. Wilson, the principal, takes appropriate action to build relationships among staff, students, and parents. Maybe they have to do a couple in-services on how to rebuild the relationships. Make sure Ms. Wilson regularly visits and observes the classrooms. Ms. Williams takes the proper action and schedules meetings with teachers, parents, students, and all involved to ensure that the problem has been solved and that something is being done to solve the problems. Part 3, enhancing instructional capacity. When you incorporate a new reading program, make sure your staff supports the program, or it is your job as a principal to get them on board with the new reading program. Have conferences to solve the current issues. Meet with your staff, meet with your students, meet with parents, and just figure out what's going on and figure out the best way to take on that issue. And obviously, as a principal, you need to have classroom observations so you know exactly what is going on, and that'll provide you the opportunity to tell that teacher what he or she specifically needs to improve on. That was my Module 13 case study. Thank you all very much.